The smokeless fire hack from World War II that modern survivalists just can't beat. Heat that keeps you alive without giving away your position. Flames that burn for hours without a single whisper of smoke. A fire so stealthy that patrols could walk right past it and never know you were there. This wasn't fantasy. This was honestly one of the most quietly brilliant survival breakthroughs of World War II, created not in laboratories or war rooms, but in forests, trenches, and bombed-out villages where people had no choice but to innovate or die. And the wildest part? This hidden fire trick still works today. In fact, it works better than most modern survival gadgets you see advertised online. Let's get into the real story, the method, the science, and the modern survival value of the forgotten smokeless fuel that helped soldiers and civilians stay alive when smoke meant death. The deadly problem with fire in World War II. During World War II, warmth and cooked food weren't luxuries. They were survival itself. But the moment you built a normal fire, you had a second problem. Smoke. Thick, drifting, sky-high smoke that acted like a bright red arrow pointing straight to your hiding spot. In Eastern Europe's forests, a single puff spotted from the air could trigger artillery. In the Pacific, smoke could pull enemy patrols straight to your camp. Even civilians hiding during blackouts knew that one careless flame could expose everyone. Fire was your lifeline. Fire was your death sentence. So people needed something else, something safer, something invisible. How soldiers and civilians beat the smoke problem. While armies issued limited smokeless tablets like Esbit or the Tommy Cooker, the most effective solutions didn't come from factories. They came from improvisers, partisans, resistance fighters, stranded troops, and civilians who refused to freeze quietly in the dark. These people experimented. They mixed materials. They tested what burned hot and what burned dirty. Slowly, they refined a formula that gave them steady heat with almost no smoke at all. Not a plume, not a trail, not even a glow visible from a distance. The result was a compact fuel cake made from 3 simple ingredients, something carbon-rich, something energy-rich, and something to hold it all together. The moment this mixture hardened, you had a fire source that burned blue, burned clean, and burned for hours. This was stealth survival at its finest. The clever science behind smokeless heat. Well, what made this mixture brilliant wasn't its simplicity. It was actually the chemistry hiding inside it. After all, smoke isn't magic. It's just incomplete combustion. Fuel burning in a messy, uneven way. Charcoal dust fixed that problem. Charcoal is almost pure carbon, and when it burns clean. Pair that with fats or waxes that vaporize into efficient hydrocarbon fuel, and suddenly your flame becomes hotter, cleaner, and far less smoky. Instead of flame devouring damp wood or dirty sticks, you get a controlled burn. A steady heat output. A flame so clean that even a sniper with optics would have to be uncomfortably close to spot it. The best part? The entire setup fit into a tin cup, a carved rock, or even an empty shell casing. World War II ingenuity meant turning whatever you had into whatever you needed. How they made smokeless fire cakes in the field. The method might sound crude, but it was so effective that soldiers could hide for weeks while cooking and heating without exposing their position. Here's how the wartime process worked. First, they melted whatever they had. Lard, animal fat, candle wax, or leftover grease. When resources were scarce, even the fat scraped off stored meat had value. Once the fat became liquid, they stirred in charcoal dust. The finer, the better. The mixture thickened into a dark, heavy paste that held heat long after it cooled. To keep it firm, they added stabilizers like soap flakes, resin, or clay. Nothing fancy, nothing exotic. Just whatever was available. Once mixed, the paste got packed into small molds, tin cans, wooden cups, carved bowls, or even cleaned out eggshells. Then it cooled, hardened, and became a secret heat source light enough to carry in pockets. Soldiers wrapped them in waxed cloth to waterproof them. Partisans buried caches along forest paths. Civilians made stacks of them in bomb shelters. These fuel cakes burned silently with a soft blue flame and almost zero detectable smoke. World War II produced many weapons, some loud, some violent, some massive. But this tiny invention saved more lives than most people will ever realize. Why this fire trick still beats modern prepper tools. Here's the part where, history just slams right into the modern world. If you enjoy bushcraft, prepping, off-grid living, or even just camping without drawing attention, this method still works unbelievably well. You don't need animal fat unless you want to honor the original formula. Beeswax works beautifully, paraffin works too. Activated charcoal creates a cleaner burn than most camp stoves. Mix, melt, mold, cool. Suddenly you've recreated a forgotten wartime hack that, honestly, outperforms half the overpriced survival products sold today. A small, compact fuel cake can boil water, warm a tent, heat food, and it'll stay lit even in damp conditions. And unlike sticks or leaves, it doesn't broadcast your location with a cloud of smoke. When the power goes out, when you're camping in crowded areas, when visibility matters, when you want heat without attention, this little relic from World War II becomes your best friend. A lost skill worth bringing back. Rediscovering survival skills from the past isn't nostalgia. It's strategy. The people who invented these smokeless fuel cakes weren't hobbyists. They were desperate, brilliant, cornered by war, and forced to create solutions under pressure modern life rarely demands from us. When you make and use this wartime fire trick yourself, you're doing more than testing a survival hack. You're connecting with real ingenuity, the kind that kept civilians alive, kept soldiers hidden, and kept resistance fighters moving through enemy territory for months. This is the kind of knowledge history's survival code exists to protect and share. Final word. If you want more forgotten survival secrets from World War II and beyond, techniques that actually work in the real world, make sure you subscribe to History's Survival Code. Share this with someone who loves hidden wartime ingenuity, and let's keep these powerful, life-saving skills alive for the next generation of survivors.